Hi, I am Victor Pretorius. You are watching From the Cape with Bass, hosted by Daniel Peterson.
Good day everybody, today we're here with great bass player Victor Pretorius. Victor, can you tell us what your first musical experience was?
Okay, for me, personally, I've been around music since day one of entering this world. So my mother would sing, my father would play all kinds of instruments around the house. So keys, guitar, we even had drums, and my father and all my uncles, they would play, like two of my uncles, yes. So one would play drums, and then our house used to be the house where they jammed.
Okay.
So literally I would fall asleep to the sounds that they were singing. And my aunt, my mother has 7 sisters, so all of them can sing.
Wow.
So 2 of them, the one is Hope and the other one is Joy. They used to sing in the band and they were good. And they're still singing today. And the thing is this, that I used to be a child, and then at night they would jam in Easterville, opposite the New Apostolic Church. They would jam late night, and the house would literally shake. And I would fall asleep under that sounds. I would hear cups out of the cupboard that's falling off the sound waves that actually goes through the house. And I would fall asleep on the mat, wherever. And I would just remember, the first time I remember falling asleep was I can't remember the day, but I know it was in the dining room, and it was just singing a cappella, and then one were picking up the guitar, one were picking up the keyboard, and they were just singing. So my whole family, both sides, father's side, mother's side singing mostly, and my father's side's music. So I've been exposed to music and musicians all of my life.
Wow, interesting, man. So tell me, what drew you to the low end?
What introduced me to the low end? It's weird because normally my father actually wanted me to play keyboard. And we had a small keyboard, and he would tell me this is A, B. And it didn't work for me as a child because as a child you don't stay focused long. So for me the bass, we were cousins, now it's the family, and now the children, the second generation. And now we as cousins came together, what do you want to play? What do you want to play? And then I just immediately decided the bass. And because my father had this red and white starlight bass, like a Fender style bass, and the bass on that thing, because it was very heavy, so the bass on that thing was crazy. So then I know, okay, we have a bass, we have a guitar, we have a keyboard, but still I choose the bass, and just the groove part of it, literally attract me, and that you can feel the vibration. That's what literally attract me to the bass. And even when my father played bass in church, I would literally watch him and what he's doing, and how he's playing and doing stuff on the bass. And I would literally watch him do that, and sometimes I would imitate it with my mouth what he's doing. So that's what attracted me to the bass, the vibes, and the thing is, the bass being in between the drums and the keys, that's what attracted me. So I can play with the drums, but I can also listen to the keyboard and go with him as well. So it's almost like a middleman connecting the two. So for me, that was the great thing that attracted me to the bass.
Wow, interesting.
Yes.
That's very interesting. And listen, so choosing the bass afterwards, did you go for lessons? Did your father teach you, or you self-taught?
Oh, this is another story, For all Christians out there and believers, this is a story that people don't hear much, you understand? So my grandmother came, she was the previous leader of our church, and one Sunday, some people she heard, I want to play bass, and there's no one to actually teach me because my father's working, he don't really have the time to teach me, but we have the instrument in the house. And she told me, listen, you come here one Sunday, after the word, she said, let me anoint your hands. And then she started anointing my hands. And honestly, I can tell you from that day, the only thing I did was, I put on the TV, I put on the CD. I can't remember the bass player, but I know it's an African bass player. I put on the CD, I got the CD from someone. And then I had some songs, and I plugged in the bass. I don't know if it was in tune or not, because I didn't have the ear to know. But all I know was, I would listen, and I would search where this key or this note is, and then I would find it, and I would find the second note, and I would find the third note, and then that's how I learned myself to play. Literally, I learned myself to play bass. People don't understand, but the thing is, where it started, it was that faith that my grandmother gave me when she anointed my hands, and then from that day, like I asked people to learn me, but you know, sometimes people are like, okay, I'm just gonna show you how to play a song in one key, but then if it's in another key, you are totally lost. You understand? So I had a 4-string bass back then, and then I would literally like search for the keys, and then I would play. And I started with quirkies because I know it was 3 chords. It's like 1, 4, 5. So I started with quirkies, then I started with jazz. So Jill Scott was one of my biggest influence because, you know, sometimes it's just that groovy part for the bass and connecting with the drums. So I would do that, you know, and people introduced me to different, like Kim Burrell. People would tell me, listen to this, listen to that. And then everything I listened to, I would try it. Even the Victor Wooten stuff, I would literally try it. Because I had a DVD of him, like way back, I had a DVD of him. So like my one friend was like, how can you try this stuff? And I was like thinking to myself, if he can do it, I can do it as well. So that's my mindset. So I would literally teach myself everything about the bass. I taught myself the number system, and we have YouTube today. So YouTube is much easier. Back then I didn't have it as I have it now. So I would tell myself, and I would like, okay, this is F, this is, I got books, I read up on books. So everything that pertains to the bass, like I learned myself. And my uncle, that's now the apostle, like he would give me a lot of advice because he used to play bass as well. He can play bass, drums, and keys and guitar. So he would give me a lot of advice. So I would literally just play with my one finger. I would start 1, 1, 1. So then he would tell me, you can use your pinky or you can use your ring finger. And then afterwards, like, and then he told me bass lines, you know, like quirky bass line. And then he would tell me, step by step, he would tell me, try this. So from Sunday to Sunday, I had 6 days, you know, to practice and to perfect, like everything. And then I bought me a tuner and then, you know, get my guitar in tune because when the bass is out, everyone can hear it. So when the bass is out, everyone can hear it. So as for me, like, you know, I taught myself I always say God helped me, by faith. He helped me. I taught myself from beginning to the end. I taught myself how to tune a guitar, got a tuner later, but I taught myself EADG, got that sound in my mind, because I was learning by ear, everything. So I was like, anyone can give me any song. Like up until the day, I believe like I can do the song. When it was Jaco Pretorius, when it was Victor Wooten, when it was Victor Masono. So I believe, like I still have to believe, I can do any song because that's my upbringing with bass. I would listen and I would duplicate. That was the thing for me.
Oh, that's so inspiring, man. Tell me, the artists that you've worked for and albums that you've worked on. Can you tell us about that, please?
The thing for me is like, I didn't, you know, when you are in church, like it's like kind of a thing going into jazz, you know. But for me, it was like I didn't work with much popular or famous artists. But what I will say is that I have worked with, I've been in this band. First, the band was called Sweet Serenities, and one good friend of mine, Regan, and Pretorius, and he introduced me to this band. You know, when I came to this band, they already had a bass player, and then I was just there. You know, every time I was just there. I was just loyal. I was just there, not in my mind wanting to get that bass player out, but that bass player wasn't consistent in his appearance or being there or showing up for the gig. So the band leader just come to me and said, listen here, I want you to be part of the band and blah blah blah. So I already had my own bass. I was already ready. So I heard the type of songs they did, cover songs like Black Current and Judith Supuma. They did songs like that. So then I was totally exposed out of the gospel world to a whole new, you understand? So then they switched over to do original songs, and then I really appreciated up until today that to do original songs, do your own songs. And then we worked with this rapper called AZ, Amantlas is his real name, and then he was part of the band, and literally we wrote songs like crazy. And then after that band, I've kind of, you know, progressed so well in the bass, and you know, when you don't feel that place where you need to move on.
Yeah.
And then I met a friend called Craig Walkman, and then me and him, we just did it all from the start. So he came from CMI,
Okay.
Yeah, he came from CMI, and now you know I don't have any education to music. He is from CMI, and he plays keys. And then now you must know that he introduces me to a world of guys that only played for CMI. You know, it's a kind of a connection. You know, a click. So when I started playing with him, we met with this guy called Greg. He plays trumpet, and then not long after that, 2015, we played at the VNA waterfront. So we had about an hour there where we could play, you know, I think about 10 songs, something that went well, you know. And for the first time, like this trumpet player would just come to me, and out of the blue would just tell me solo, and I was like and out of the blue I had a black force, and then out of the blue I would just solo, and then like I literally got lost in that solo because I still don't know up until today what I did. Up until today I don't know what I did, but the people were screaming because I was putting my all into the bass. I don't know what scales I played, didn't even know if I played in the key. And my friend Craig, you play the keyboard, he would hear me go off key in my solo, and then he would follow just so it don't stand out. And then after that we were close, me and the drummer Clinton and Craig the keyboard player. So we were invited to this Calibel concert by Pretorius High School. So we played there, and you know, for me and my friend that have this gospel background, when you play in front of jazz artists, they can hear like immediately, yeah, you guys, you are playing gospel. Except my friend plays the keyboard because he comes from CMI, and jazz is a big influence there. So I play a Calibel concert, and then obviously I have to solo there. And then it was break time. We played, we got applauded, everything. And then Peter in Gladwell come to me. He said, you know what? You play well. And I like your playing, but you know what? Check out some piano stuff. It will improve your soloing. And I took that advice from him. Just that little nugget that he gave me, I took that advice from him. I was like thinking to myself, this guy is right. Yeah, I need to check out some more to improve my soloing, because I was just soloing out of my, you know, I need to solo, and I had no structure, nothing. I just solo. So as far as working with artists, like I haven't worked with a lot of artists, but even with this band, we called ourselves Ray Band after a while.
Ray Band.
Ray Band, yes. Like the glasses.
Okay.
And we started doing gigs, like at churches, at wherever, at weddings, whatever. And then we recorded our own single. We called it The Journey. So just in Brackenfell, there's a studio where we recorded this journey. It was me on bass, Craig on keys, and Zerrido Hatton on trumpet. So the three of us wrote that song one Thursday in his room. And both of all the people that I played with, one went to UCT, one to CMI, and the guitarist Carl also went to CMI. Every one of them, my other friend Clint that plays gospel, he went to East River High School that teaches music as a subject, you know, and every one of them had a great background of music, except myself, and they were they could read, but I couldn't. I literally had to, you know, up myself and adapt to the playing, whereby no one could actually say if I didn't study, we sounded like as a unit. But I knew I just had to, you know, up my playing. But as far as artists, I didn't play with much artists. We were basically our own artists. We kind of set that to ourselves. We want to be our own artists, and then we started writing songs, and we still writing songs.
Are you still in contact with these guys?
They are more friends than they are bandmates. So one was here last week, he brought his camera. So the other one is just staying here over because we literally married a week out of each other.
Okay.
So we are still in contact, and like the one is always telling, listen, we need to come together, we need to write songs. And for me, moving to the producing side of music, studio vibe, like literally like doing our own thing, like we will come together and we will definitely, because we haven't, our Facebook page, if you can search Ray Band, you will still find it there. And the pictures there is our first studio recording. You can still find it. We didn't delete it or whatever, because we know once we get the time, because most of us are married now, and once we get the time to get there, we will definitely do that and do original music from South Africa and definitely put it out for the world.
Wow, that something to look forward to.
Yes, definitely.
Can you tell me about the gear that you're using?
Okay, so I'm not fancy about gear. Like I believe sound comes out of your hands, because that's how I kind of was sensitive to sound. I don't like playing loud and stuff like that. But the gear I'm using currently now, it's Ibanez sound gear, because I used it. I didn't have a bass. I wanted a 5-string bass, and my friend had an Ibanez sound gear similar to this. This is a black one. And he told me, no, you can use it for a while. So I would jam with his bass, and then I like the sound, and I like what I could do with it, and I can tweak it, and I can get different elements out of the bass as well. You know, I can get the highs, I can get the lows, you know. And here and there I would use pedal here and there, you know, a volume pedal when I can get to it. And then at church also I use at church, because that amp is so big, I don't bring it home. Only bring the practice amp home. At church also the same Ibanez, that's about 150 watt bass amp, so that's what I use at church as well. But for me, when it comes to gear, I really love Fender guitars, to be honest with you, because of the growl, the bass, and you know. So I really love Fender, but the price is like it's very high because it's so popular. But if God allows me in His will, I will definitely buy me a Fender bass. And my father had a Fender, a 60 watt bass amplifier. I'm telling you, that bass amplifier, my mother would literally hell, because like the cupboards, the cups would fall out of the cupboards because of that bass. And now we had a Fender style bass, and the bass would like just scream out. So I would literally love a Fender bass with a Fender amp going forward, you know, upgrading my gear. But for now, I'm using this Ibanez, and
but it does what it needs to do.
It definitely does. I've been really impressed with this bass, and for me, it gives a nice sound. It's not too loud. It's also not too soft. So for me, it works.
Okay. Victor, do you have any advice for young up-and-coming bass players and musicians out there?
Okay, my advice for bass players in particular, first of all, is like, don't compare yourself to anyone else. I know growing up, like you have people that you idolize and people that you like, but for me, it's always like the journey that took them where they are. It's not the same journey that you on. That's why we wrote the song "The Journey." Because each one journey is different, and the your bass playing that comes from you will portray your journey. So don't be like anyone else. Yes, you can learn from them, you can watch them, you can do, but I don't want to sound like anyone. So don't sound like yourself. Find your own sound.
Yeah.
So that's for me important advice to give to you. As for musicians, it's like literally be yourself. Be as humble as you possibly can be. Because a lot of times musicians, they get the accolades, they get the comments, and the humbleness go out of the window, you know. Teach as much as you can. Give to the next generation. Whatever you have to give, just give it out. You will receive more. Because even now I'm learning another student. Just give as much as you can. Don't give like, okay, I'm only gonna give this and this, but teach as much, and also learn to teach the proper way. Because teaching is not literally like just saying play this song, play that song. But as musicians, we need to be able to teach, because when you teach someone, you receive more in that teaching, and you remind yourself, this is this, I need to do this, and I need to do this. So as for musicians, literally, I would definitely say stay humble, because we are literally sharing the stage. And even in the Christian faith, we are ushering people into the presence of God. So it's important for us to stay humble and to know that, you know, this is a God-given gift. Like I work at a place where you can lose your hand or finger at any time. And I will always tell myself, God, I need to be humble, because I can come to work and lose a finger, I can lose an arm, I can lose a hand, and then what? Then I'm nothing. You understand? So I tend to remind myself, you need to be humble. Even if someone give me a compliment, I'll say, thank you, but you know, everything of me comes from God. Like I've told you previously, the story where my grandmother literally anointed my hands. So it doesn't belong to me. This gift belongs to God. So just know, most of our bass players now, even in the world, if you look at America, if you look at South Africa, probably 90-95% of us comes out of the church.
Yeah.
So we, even singers as well, we need to, you know, acknowledge the fact that this is the gift that God gave us, and then we need to present it to God. So, and
Victor, thank you so much for making time for me.
Thank you, Daniel, man.
Making time for Family Cape with Bass. God bless you on your journey.
God bless you too.
Thank you for liking and sharing this video with your family and friends. Please follow From the Cape with Bass on Facebook, Instagram and YouTube. Thank you so much.